West Palm TV, 30 seconds, please.
Okay, are we going? Are we good? All right. Arlene, get situated. All right, you good? Okay. All right. Good morning, everyone. I would like to call to order the City of West Palm Beach Special Magistrate hearing for January 3rd, 2024. Happy New Year. My name is Keith Davis. I'm the Special Magistrate appointed by the city to preside over today's hearing. Before we begin, if you'll please silence your cell phones so they don't interrupt our proceedings, that will be appreciated. As a matter of procedure, when your case is called, if you will please come up to the podium to my right. The way we'll deal with each case is I'll hear from the city first. City's officer or other witnesses will present testimony, and there may be documentary evidence in the form of photographs or other notice documents. Those will appear on the monitors. You'll have an opportunity to look at all those documents. Once the city's concluded its presentation and made any recommendations to me on how it believes the case should be resolved, I will then come over to you. It'll be your opportunity to tell me about the case from your point of view. If you have any questions for the city's witness or witnesses, you can ask those questions. If you have additional documents that you want me to consider that you brought with you, that will be the time to produce those. After I've heard everything from both sides, in all likelihood this morning I will enter an order that resolves the matter one way or the other. If you're going to be speaking to me this morning, this is considered a quasi-judicial proceeding, which one of the things that means is that your testimony needs to be under oath. Excuse me. So I need to swear everybody in. If you're going to be speaking to me on anything on today's agenda, please stand and raise your right hand. Thank you. Do each of you swear or affirm under penalties of perjury that your testimony today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Thank you very much. You can all have a seat. With all that explanation behind us, let's go ahead and call the first case.
First case number 3-1220 Okeechobee Road, CEBLD 23080423. Number 3-1220 Okeechobee Road. Do we have a respondent here for 1220 Okeechobee?
Dan. That's me? Yeah.
All right.
My name's Tom Moore, building inspector at West Palm. Mr. Usher's crew was putting in a door. I was asked to go out and investigate. They were, so they had issued a stop work order back in August 22nd, 23. But they said, go ahead and finish the install for security reasons, but just get the permit. So time went on, gave them a couple extensions, no permit was applied for, so we had to proceed. So on December 6th, the certified mail was sent out. It was posted at City Hall the same day, posted on the property on the 7th, December 7th of last year. It's delivered, the certified mail was delivered on the December 9th of 23. And they have applied for a permit, so we're just looking for some more time. Dan says he needs 30 days. I would suggest maybe 45 or $50 a day fine.
Thank you. I have a couple of housekeeping questions just to have it on the record, do you have an executed affidavit of posting in the file?
Yes, do you want to see it?
No, just your testimony is fine. In regards to that posting, does it also indicate that a notice was sent by regular first-class mail?
Yes,
And do we have any photographs?
yes,
All right. And did you take those photographs?
I did take them.
And do those photographs truthfully depict, are they part of the file? They're part of the file, that's okay. Oh, they're just pictures of posting. Is that the door in question?
Yes.
Sir,
Yes.
right there that we're looking at? And these photos truthfully and accurately depict and represent the alleged violations that you've observed at the property for
They
this
do.
case?
They do.
All right. And do you believe that 45 days is a reasonable amount of time?
If Dan does, I do.
Okay. And do you have the permit number that was applied for, just for the record? If you do. If you don't, that's okay.
I've got it, Tom, if you want it.
I don't have it.
Okay, very good, that's fine. And other than, what was it about this door, just for the record, that you believe is a violation?
Someone complained, and we followed up. The door was being installed with no permit.
Okay, all right, thank you. And Special Magistrate, the city would like to submit as evidence a copy of the case file, including the notice of violation, affidavit of posting, pop-up printout sheet, certified mailing documents, photographs, the stop work order, and the permit application.
Thank you.
alluded to.
Those documents are part of the record in this case. Let me get your name and address, sir, first of all.
Name's Dan Usher. Address is 1378 North Killian Drive, Suite 8.
And
Usher
you're the
and
manager of
Associates.
Sweet Cakes LLC, the owner?
No,
of
I'm a contractor for
You're the
that.
contractor?
Yeah.
All right. And are you authorized to speak on behalf of
I am.
the respondent? Okay, so why don't you tell me what's going on with this case?
Well, the door was damaged, wasn't locking, so we got called to swap it out for him.
Okay,
Tom did give us plenty of time. We dropped the ball, but now we are in for permits. Dealing with the city, they said maybe 20 more days before our permit's issued.
all right. So if I enter an order that allows 45 additional days to get this wrapped up,
That would work for me.
all right. Anything else from the city on this case? Okay, then I do find proper notice. The respondent is represented by its contractor. Based on the testimony and the evidence, I will find that the property remains in violation as cited. I will allow 45 additional days to cure the violation. After that, daily fines of $50 per day are assessed until compliance is achieved. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Number 10, 1037 35th Street, CE 22090371. Number 10, 1037 35th Street.
Good morning. My name is Ryan Brown. I'm the Chief Plumbing Inspector for the City of West Palm. Code case number is CE 22090371. The address is 1037 35th Street. This was an expired permit investigation, a permit that was applied for but never issued. In order to close those out, we investigate to make sure the work was not done. When the investigation was performed, it was found that the shed was installed without a permit or inspections. There was a red tag posted on the job and a stop work order on 9/26 of 2022. The notice of violation was mailed via certified mail and regular mail on 12/6/2023. It was posted at City Hall and on the property on 12/6/2023. Certified mail was delivered to an individual on 12/9/2023. The alleged violations observed are a 5x7 shed installed without permits or inspections. Those are the pictures that are in the case, and those truthfully depict the violation. Permit inspections are definitely required for that type of work. The permits have been applied for, but again, it was an expired permit, so the permit has not been issued and inspections have not been performed. Included in my file is a copy of the notice of violation and an affidavit of posting. I believe I did speak to you. You called me shortly after I posted that, but no action's been taken since then. The city recommends 90 days to finish up that permit or get a newer permit. and the $25 a day after that.
Thank you very much. Just one question. Do you believe 90 days is a reasonable amount of time?
I do.
All right. Special Magistrate, I don't have any other questions, so the city would like to submit as evidence a copy of the case file, including the notice of violation, affidavit of posting, pop-up printout sheet, certified mailing documents, photographs, stop work order, and any other documents relied upon. Thank you.
Thank you. Those are part of the record in this case. Ma'am, if I could get your name and address first, and then you can tell me about what's going on with this case.
My name is Felicia Brown. My address is 1037 35th Street, West Palm Beach, Florida, 33407.
Thank you, ma'am. Do you have any questions for the city's witness? And if not, you can just tell me about what's going on with getting the permit here.
The only thing that I can expound on what he said is the time.
Okay.
I came down, this shed was done back in 2019.
19?
2019.
Mhm.
I came down here, tried to apply for a permit. At the time, Angela of the zoning department told me because of the area that I live in, very restricted space that we have. She told me she was, the following week, she's gonna be issuing a variance. And she was supposed to give me a call. That never happened.
Okay.
When I proceeded, and I put in the permit, but again, this is probably the first permit I've done, try to do myself. I went through the process. I was talking to a gentleman named Dylan, and we went back and forth. And as of this year, in April, was the last time he contacted me. We were on the phone, corresponding back and forth. He told me, don't worry about it. You know, this will be taken care of. He put another phone call into Angela, figure out what the variances is or what I need to do. And that was the end of that conversation, because he said it was going to be taken care of. I get a notice from Ryan, beginning of December, and it was a notice to come to court. I came down here, I went on vacation shortly after that. I came down here as soon as I got off my cruise, which was on the 27th. Came here to try to do what he asked me to do, to try to get the permit going. And everybody here was telling me they didn't know anything about it. They couldn't help me. So I came back again on Friday. Again, nobody can help me. They say he was out of town. So yesterday when I came, I spoke to a lady by the name of Alexis. She was the first one to help me, try to show me what to do, how it to be done, so I can get this matter done. She showed me a bunch of papers, a lot of stuff I need to do, and including the fee for applying for this variance, which is expensive. So as of yesterday, I am just starting this process of applying for this variance and getting the documentation together to complete asking for the variance. The amount of it is a little bit out of my range for right now, because I am part-time working, not full-time. And that's where I'm at. I think I need more time than 90 days.
Okay. Let me ask some clarifying questions from the city. The building permit that we're talking about, you said was a plumbing permit?
No, it's a building permit.
It's a bill for the shed. Okay. So the shed's already there, but it was put in without a permit. Are there zoning issues? In other words, I guess, is this permit issuable for this shed, or is there other things that have to happen?
I recollect the notes I read correctly. I believe it was a setback issue, and that's what she's applying for a variance for.
All right. So would it be possible to even issue a building permit until the zoning variance is obtained?
No, the zoning variance would have to be as part of the review and would have to be approved.
Okay, so you have applied for the setback variance, you said?
As of yesterday, I finally got a person to come and tell me what to do and how to do this process. So I just got a packet yesterday, and quite a bit of stuff that she told me I have to do, so, and I'm gonna have to come down here, I'm sure, a couple of times for her to guide me through it, because this is as I said the first time, and I've been living at this address for 23 years, and I've never had anything done.
If this goes through the variance process and they, I don't know if it's Board of Adjustment or whatever board deals with variances in the city, but and that's granted, will that clear the way for the building permit to be issued?
I believe so.
Ms. Frankenaro, do you have any sense for if a zoning variance was applied for yesterday, what's the reasonable guesstimate of the time it will take to get through that process?
Off the top of my head, I don't know. I think they happen every month,
I believe so.
but I don't know what the cutoff is to get her case onto the board's agenda for that month. So it may need,
I mean, the city's recommendation was 90 days, which
I'm not sure.
may
if-
be enough, but that may get
Yeah.
tight. I'm wondering if, what's the city's thoughts on like 120 days for this, to get it through the process?
I mean,
I don't object to 150 days.
Beg your pardon?
I don't have a problem with that. If they want a few extra days, 150 total, that's okay.
Okay.
But I think going beyond that seems excessive.
Well, here's what I'm inclined to do, Ms. Powell, is to set the compliance deadline for 120 days, which is 4 months out, which is pretty much get you through April. If you have applied for that variance and it's granted, it seems to me that should be enough time to get the building permit. Now, a couple other things could happen here. For whatever reason, there may be comments back and forth and the variance hearing process may be delayed. Whether that happens or not, you may get to the board that issues variances and it may be denied. So if either of those things happens, if it's denied, you probably can't get a building permit at all. If it's delayed, you may need additional time. But for today, I think I'm gonna put compliance at 120 days, but if something happens along the way, my point in saying all that is that you need to stay in touch with code enforcement at the city, and if you need additional time, ask for an opportunity to come back and see me and request additional time. And then based on what's going on, I may or may not grant that request, but you know, one way or the other, either you're gonna get a permit to keep the shed or you're not, in which case I suppose the shed would either have to be moved to a correct a code compliant location and then be inspected or simply removed. There's always typically more than one way to cure a code violation, but it seems to me there's still a lot of things that could happen here. However, for today, unless there's anything else you'd like to tell me, that's the order that I'm gonna enter for today, and then we'll see how this goes.
All I
Anything?
can do is see how it goes myself. I'm just started, again, she just gave this paperwork to me, and it's about 15 things I need to do to even start it.
Okay.
And one of the things, I can't even apply for it until I have the total amount of $816 to even apply for
Yeah,
it, which
there
I
is-
don't have at this time.
I mean, so, and that's for the variance?
That's just to put it, to apply for it, to actually fill out the paperwork and actually submit it.
All right, well then, hang on a minute, because, I mean, if you're telling me you actually haven't applied for it yet
I
because
just-
of the
yesterday
permit
was-
fee, I mean,
I just got somebody to actually come down and even tell me what I needed to do. As of yesterday afternoon, yesterday morning, I was here. Alexis gave me this packet, and she was the first one to actually guide me into the right direction to what I needed to do.
and this case was started, tell me again, this has already been going on for a little
September
while.
of 22, yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, you know, I'm willing to give some additional time, but I'm not inclined to kick this can way down the road. I think that this needs to be dealt with now, one way or the other. All right, is there anything else from the city on this one?
Yes, sir.
Then, all right, well, and that is still what I'm gonna do, and Ms. Powell, you're gonna, you know, need to, make some decisions and make this, priority one way or the other, because that clock is gonna start ticking. So I do find proper notice, Ms. Powell is present, and the city had the proper notice documents in its file. Based on the testimony and the evidence, I find that the property remains in violation as cited. I'm going to grant, 120 days to cure the violation, let's call that, January, February, it's gonna be about April 3rd of 2024. And if compliance is not achieved by that date, daily fines of $25 per day will be assessed until compliance is achieved. So again, if you feel like you're going to need additional time, then despite your best efforts, ask for the opportunity to request that. Otherwise, if you get to April 3rd and this isn't taken care of, you're going to start to accrue daily fines. So want to avoid that if at all possible. Okay, do you have any questions?
No, just trying to process what you're saying.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next case, number 6, 3021 Windsor Avenue, CE 23110978, number 6, 3021 Windsor Avenue.
Good morning.
Morning.
I'm KT Weaver with the City of West Palm Beach Code Enforcement. The property at 3021 Windsor Avenue was cited on November 8th, 2023. The notice of violation was posted at the property and City Hall on November the 13th, 2023. Certified mail was sent to the mailing address listed on PAPA on November 13th, 2023. It was signed for on November 15th, 2023. The property was cited for numerous violations, being the condition of the structures, 18103B, landscape and maintenance, 18106K, fence maintenance, 94302-A-4, outdoor storage, 94-71-C, clean and sanitary, 18-106-A, and excessive growth, 18-106-B, and also failing to secure building permit for an unpermitted wall, which is 105.1. This property was initially called in as a complaint. I went to the property on November 8th and found the violations that I stated above. I have had contact with the property owner. The property is still in violation of the codes listed. For the record, I failed to cite for the easement, 74-4-C-5, which I will cite in a later case. The city is requesting an additional 60 days to gain compliance, or $150 a day until compliance is achieved.
Thank you. Just a few questions, please. Is there an executed affidavit of posting in your file?
Yes,
Does that affidavit reflect that the notice of violation was also sent by regular first-class mail?
yes,
Okay. You said you had contact with the owner.
yes,
Is that who's here today?
yes, Mr.
Okay.
Little.
And the photographs that we've been reviewing, do they truthfully and accurately depict and represent the alleged violations that you've observed?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. For each alleged violation that you've had in the notice of violation, can you tell us for the record what it is you saw for each one of these?
Okay, if you want to start the photos, there's numerous photos. Specifically for the exterior, there's some
Can
exterior.
we start with 18-103?
Sir, I'm going to let
I'm
the city...
asking, we have to go in order. We can't jump from everything. Can we start with the first violation that we brought up on here? Because I'm not going to be out of order. It's only fair to me.
I'm going to let the city present its case the way it feels is appropriate. You'll have an opportunity to address everything as you feel is appropriate. And so please proceed.
Amen. Okay, thank you, sir. If you would pull up the photos, and this is the reinspection photos. The photos are not in order as far as this, but these photos are in reference to the excessive growth, clean and sanitary, and the outdoor storage. This is the rear of the property, if you'll keep this rolling.
But can you tell us, just so it's in the record and it's
Yes, ma'am.
clear, what is it that we're seeing in the photos?
Okay,
that
it's
supports-
overgrowth,
Mhm.
it's clean and sanitary, there's trash, there's things that are stored, thrown in where the fence is in disrepair. There are palm fronds and also,
Can I move motion to
Pewter
dismiss
Park.
on this?
Sir, if you interrupt one more
I'm
time,
asking, because this was heard October of 2021, and you're trying me on the same thing, and the city has not owned up to the 2021 case of the ruling. And the ruling was for the city to get a survey to show who owns what on that property. We're rehashing the same thing over again, and the city has not complied. That's all I want to tell this court. I'm not here to interrupt.
all
I'm
right.
not here to cause a problem with you.
I've heard you. You've interrupted twice now, despite.
Well,
your
I think it's
com-
more than fair if there's something that I see going wrong
I'm
here.
gonna, maybe you weren't here when I explained how this works at the beginning of the hearing.
I was
Think
here
what
when-
I'm gonna say it again because clearly you didn't understand if you
I
heard.
did understand it
Sir,
100%.
it's now my turn. The way this is gonna work is I'm gonna hear from the city. When the city's through with its case, I'm gonna come to you and you're gonna have an opportunity to ask any question that you have, present any argument that you want, show me additional documents that you think are relevant, and after I've heard everything from you as well, I'm gonna enter an order. But I'm not gonna tolerate this interruption all morning. You've done it twice now, and we've only been here a couple minutes. Please don't do it again. City, please continue.
thank you. It's showing, again, as I stated, it's showing the excessive growth. It's showing the, where the landscape needs to be maintained properly. It's showing, clean and sanitary. There's trash. There's also things that are grown, pond fronds from the trees and everything, and items actually thrown. If you keep strolling, you'll see items that are thrown, there in the yard, in the back of the yard also. Here in that pile, there's items in there like a computer monitor and some other stuff all back there if you keep strolling. All that's the rear of the property. And then you'll see, like I said, the fence, and then there's also some, keep scrolling, there's also fence on the side. If we keep scrolling, we'll see. Okay, and this here is the door, which is part of the conditions of the foundation. The door, which is, needs to be replaced, the jamb and everything is in disrepair. If you keep scrolling, you'll see pictures that can give you a little close-up view. It's cracked, and it does not, close properly if you keep scrolling. And this is where the unpermitted walls comes into play. This is a 2-bedroom duplex. There was an unpermitted wall put up to make it a 3-bedroom. As you can see, this, there's no closet in that room. There, over where the windows are, if you go over by the windows, you can put your hand in, and there's an opening there because it is an unpermitted wall, which is not permitted. Keep scrolling. And this is the door, the other side of the door jamb. It has no plates or anything on it. So initially, if a person was to go there and it's supposedly locked, you can basically just rip the door open because it can't secure properly. Outdoor storage. And then now we keep scrolling, we're looking at some of the exterior wall and everything. And around the door. And there in the wall, you see things that need to be patched and touched up areas for the exterior wall.
Is that, excuse me, is that the fence that you're also talking about?
Yes, it's-
This wooden fence that
Yes.
is in disrepair, can that be repaired necessarily?
Basically, you
replaced.
need a hole to replace it.
Okay.
And if you keep scrolling, you'll see a side view of it also. This is the side there.
Okay. And Officer Weaver, while we're looking at these, do all these photographs truthfully and accurately depict and represent the alleged violations that you've observed?
Yes.
Okay. And since the notice of violation was issued, posted, have you seen any progress in any of these alleged violations?
The only somewhat progress in the backyard, some of the overgrowth was dealt with, but not totally.
Okay, all right. You recommended 60 days. Do you believe that's a reasonable amount of time within which to bring all these alleged violations into compliance?
Yes, ma'am, if they're addressed.
Very good, thank you. Special Magistrate, I have nothing further. The city would like to submit as evidence a copy of the case file, including the notice of violation, affidavit of posting, pop-up printout sheet, certified mailing documents, and photographs.
All right, and the city's file is part of the record. I have a couple of questions before I go to the respondent. I'm, you know, the photographs that have been presented that I've seen, I think, make pretty clear certain violations. 18103B, the condition of the structure, 18106K, the landscape maintenance, and 94302A4, the fence and wall maintenance. I'm not, please point me to the evidence regarding, I mean, let's just start with the minimum property standard stuff, the excessive growth, the outdoor storage, and the clean and sanitary. What is, show me that.
Okay.
Again, I really wasn't completely clear on what you were pointing to for those items.
Okay, that is the yard and all the growth. Like I said, some has been addressed.
Okay,
I have before pictures, the initial photos, and then the photos when I re-inspected before hearing. These are the initial photos of what it initially looked like here. If we
Okay.
go to the conditions now, you'll see where some of it has been dealt with. Some of it is worse. The fence that just showed leaning, it's even leaning even more in the current photos. The backyard was addressed some. This is the current condition. If you keep scrolling through the backyard, this is how it was looking previously. Someone did come out and do some cutting back and some hacking, but the trash, debris, and all of that stuff is still there. That was not touched or addressed at all.
well, show me that, because I mean, I've seen, I'm clear on the vegetation, but in terms of trash,
Okay.
I'm not clear on what you're pointing to
Okay.
for that.
Yes, ma'am. The re-inspection photos, so I'll take you through that now. Okay, this is how it looks now. There's trash and debris. There, like I said, where do you see the pond fronds and the pile, there's actually objects underneath that. Some pictures you can see glimpses of it, but without actually going through, taking the stuff off and with my hands, which did not happen. But up close, you can see that there are items that was thrown over there that's underneath all of that, mixed in with that. This is where you see some of the overgrowth was addressed, but it wasn't clearly, it's not clearly totally addressed. It was just cut back some.
Okay,
And then there's a little closer picture of the trash and objects that are thrown, like all in there. And then if you keep going, you'll see also the fence on the side. All of these are current. And there you can see almost like a computer monitor right there. And if you keep going, you'll see the fence where it's leaning even more. This is still the backyard here.
you said that was a computer monitor?
Yes, sir.
All right, I couldn't tell, but
I could tell, but
no,
it was yes,
I'm
one of the
not
older
doubting
ones,
you, I'm
the
just-
the square ones that we used to have.
okay.
Yes, sir.
Officer Weaver, just for the record, what was your date of reinspection, just for the record?
The 20th,
Of-
12/20 of 2023.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. And if you go down, you'll see the side, just to show the side fence that's leaning in even more.
What is the city pointing to regarding outdoor storage?
Okay, this,
Never mind, I see.
yes, yes, sir. And then keep going, you'll see the fence, and then that should,
Okay.
okay, keep going, yeah.
So,
there.
All right.
That's the current now of the fence on the side
I
also.
get the fence,
Okay.
that was obvious. So the last thing that I need a little bit more clarity on is the failure to secure the building permit. And there was testimony that there was a new wall. When was it put in? How do we know it
Now-
wasn't there?
Okay,
I'm not-
so going
the
from the-
evidence I have on needing a building permit for this wall is not clear to me.
That's fine. Okay, so go, according to Property Appraisers, this is a 2-bedroom duplex. Now it is slated as a 3-bedroom. So what has happened, if you go by the pictures by the windows, and you may see better in the initial photos, there is, right where the windows would be, where you would have your living room area, there, part of that space was taken up. So there's a wall that goes across. So the actual living space may be 5 to 6 feet in width. The rest of the space was pulled to make this so-called 3rd bedroom. By the windows, if you go in, it looks, if you just look at one side of the wall, it looks like it could be there. But then when you go by the window, you can see where it's not, because it does not, you cannot complete the wall because the windows are there. So there is a little gap that you can reach your hand through to the other side that shows that that's an unpermitted wall. Not only that, there's no closet in that space. It's a little space also. It's like the living room was divided in half to try to make the two.
Magistrate, can I add to that?
Yes, sir.
Mark Joyce, I'm the manager for code enforcement. I saw the photos that KT took. So the wall she's talking about splits a window in two. So half of the window is in one room, the other or half of the window's in the other room. You could actually take your arm along the window and reach from one room to the other. That would never be permitted. So that has to be.
So is that a building code violation?
Yeah, that has to be, a permit has to be pulled, and the window and the wall has to be put in correctly.
Was that the photograph of that I was just looking at?
These are the photos that keep scrolling.
Okay,
Yes, sir. You can see the little gap there.
okay. One last question, this may be for the city attorney. And you are Mr. Little, is that correct? That's the name I have on my agenda. Thank you. Mr. Little mentioned that this hearing either began in October or that this case was previously heard in October and something was supposed to happen between then and date. Can you clarify if you know what that was referencing?
Sorry, I personally am unsure of what he's speaking about.
All right,
I don't
then
know if
I'll
he needs
have
to,
him-
either he needs to give more information for me to even research right now, unless Officer Weaver or Mr. Joyce
Or if
has any
anybody from the
additional
city knows,
information.
and
This
I'm
case
certainly going to come
started
back
in
to you, but
November.
Oh, I'm sorry, wait, I'm sorry.
This case started in November. It was never heard before.
Okay, okay. So I don't know anything further
All
at the moment.
all right, is there anything else from the city based on my questions?
No, sir.
Okay, Mr. Little, the floor is now yours. If you have any questions for any of the city's witnesses who spoke, you're free to ask those questions. If not, you can tell me about,
Well, Mark Joyce, number one, is starting to put his mouth into this, and I don't think it's fair, because I have the paperwork right here for October 21st, the 6th day of October 2021. I came here and had a hearing. A lot of the code enforcement officers even remember the hearing that have been here since that long. And the ruling at the hearing was for the city, or specifically code enforcement, to go out and get a survey on the property to
Okay.
determine where the property lines are. They first asked me to do it. I said, I'm not gonna do it. I don't need it. I know where my property lines are. And the hearing was dismissed. I have the paperwork for that hearing sitting right here
I'd like
in
to...
my hands.
I'd like to, if you'd like me to...
Like I said, it was dismissed, and they were given an order to determine the property lines. The city failed to follow through with it.
Okay.
So that's why at the beginning, I was like, let's go in order with this, so there's no confusion. Let's not double try me on something that was already ruled on before in this court. In the pictures, I guess I'm gonna have to testify again, in the pictures, none of that is my property that she is showing of the fences. The fence to the left-hand side of the property is not my fence. It was put up illegally. It's not on my property line. I have pictures here showing the property line.
Okay.
If you wish to see them, but
Well,
the
if you
fence
want,
to the right of the property is not on my property line. I did not put up the fence. What you see in the back is vegetation from the railroad and a fence that the railroad actually put up more than 20 years ago. It's on the railroad's property, but not one person for that whole road has ever contacted the railroad to clean up anything. The railroad has not cleaned up. They have overgrowth coming onto my property that I have to pay people to trim the overgrowth. I trim it back to the property line.
Okay.
I know where my property line is. Just because they're in my backyard, assuming that that is my property line, taking me to court again, but assuming and in my backyard. I mean, I thought that we resolved the problems of standing in the back of the pickup trucks and going in people's backyards a long time ago, but we haven't. I mean, just before Christmas, we had 3 brand-new code enforcement officers and a seasoned code enforcement officer going down Windsor Avenue. The new code enforcement officers were running in people's backyards writing up violations, while the senior code enforcement officer drove the car. So I personally have video of it. But nor here nor there. This vegetation thing needs to be resolved now. I don't want to be harassed about it. I don't want code enforcement to go, wow, I'm assuming that that's his property, so I'm going to harass him. That fence that's blown over is not on, it's on my property now because it's been blown onto my property, but it's not my fence. It's not on my property line. If you bring up the property appraisers and look at the angle of the lots, my property was built in 1960. The lots are all on an angle. My building is built straight on that lot. That's almost like a mistake.
okay.
So you would assume by looking at the building that the lots are straight. Go on property appraisers, they're all on an angle. 1960 it was built. What next do we want to discuss? Have we finally resolved this landscaping problem of I cannot go on federal property and clean up federal property? That is trespassing. This argument has gone all the way back to Lois Frankel being mayor and her doing her run on the train down there and making everyone clean up the federal property. This isn't my first battle with you guys over fencing, cleaning up the train's property. And one of your pictures do clearly show the property marker. If you go back to the very beginning of your pictures, you will see the property marker in the back. And that was left in the ground purposely when a chain link fence rusted out. I left it in there as a property marker.
Can we scroll to the photograph that Mr. Little's referencing
That's
so
the
we can take a
beginning.
look at that?
Of your part.
And if you'd like me to consider that 2021 order, I would need to look at it. Why don't you,
I don't have the order because y'all never gave me anything. I showed up for hearing.
let's see what you have.
And I've showed up to probably 4 other hearings. All the time to Lois Frankel.
For the record, this is a notice of violation for case number 21-90010. Same address, 3021 Windsor Avenue. Well, hang on. Actually, it's not the same address. This shows Windsor Avenue number 1. Today's agenda shows Windsor Avenue number 2.
Same property.
Okay. It's cited 18106K, landscape maintenance, 94302A4, fence, and then it's scheduled a hearing on October 6, 2021. Okay, so it was notice of hearing. Ms. Frankenaro was not in order.
All right, so we,
Can the city look that case number up and tell me what happened with that case, the 2021 case, so they can put it into the record?
I only got a month left.
Actually, hang on, I'm getting way ahead of myself. First, I wanted to let Mr. Little point out a property marker in one of the city's photographs.
It was at the very beginning when y'all started showing your pictures.
Let's take care of that first.
Well,
Monique, he wants to
we're
go-
rehashing what we did
Picture of the pictures he wants to go to first.
October 6th. Just because a fence faces some way, it doesn't mean that it's my fence. You gotta start, I'm looking.
The pictures are over there, sir.
The picture's right there.
Is this the photograph that you were asking to see, Mr. Little?
You gotta go to the back of the property. Right? No, good. I think it might be shown in there. What's the date of that picture? Do you have the dates on your pictures? That's the initial photos.
No, the initial photos were taken on the initial inspection.
I want to say the picture
No.
where she said there's debris on the
November 8th.
ground.
The initial date for,
Won't you go back to the 12/20
initial photos
pictures?
is labeled initial
Let's start with
photos.
12/20 that she said that she took.
Okay,
And
one,
we
one,
might be able to find it there.
Now he wants the
One
other
moment,
photos,
sir.
the
Thank you.
reinspection photos. He wants to go through those. Yes. Yes, those were taken on the 20th.
All right, go back up. No, that's not it. Go, flip it if you would, please. It looks like there's, just one thing, let's stop at that one. It looks like there's debris on the ground. The tenants are growing peppers, I think the habaneros, and those pots, and it looks like it's covered with garbage. They're growing stuff, but they won't be growing for too much longer, because I have to evict them. You can go to another picture.
Just scroll slowly so we can...
Keep on going. I need the left back of the property. Keep on going. All right, let me get my picture up. Now, the way she took it, no, not there. The way she took it, I thought I saw it. It's a chain link pole, but I got the pictures here. No. Whatever it is, I'm on the property line. I purposely cut all the way to the property line.
Okay.
There was about 6 inches of overgrowth from the railroad coming on my property. I said to my landscaper, will you cut right to this line? Don't cut anymore. He
Okay.
cut.
I understand. So,
He even admitted to it.
all right, let me get the info on the 2021 case, please.
While they're looking for
Are
that,
these photos from the 2021 case? Is that what we're looking at?
well, if you got the photos from the 20, that's the marker right there that I've been talking about.
That pole, is
That's
that
my
what you were
property
talking?
line. That's the old chain link I pulled down. I left that there to show the property for the back left.
Okay,
And they actually agreed with me that that was the property line.
okay,
Everything behind there is federal property, can't walk on it.
okay. And that's a railroad behind there, is that what you're saying?
Railroad.
Okay.
And why doesn't someone do something with this railroad? It's, when I first bought the property 26, 27 years, 25, whatever, years ago, I cleaned up that whole property back there, and I stacked it 10 feet from the railroad. I shut down the railroad police very upset. But I brought in a crew and cleaned up everything there. The railroad hasn't touched it in many, many years. So why doesn't the city write a letter to the railroad and have them do something instead of attacking the homeowners?
Well, that's a question for your city commission.
Well, we got Joyce here who's leaving in a month, but why can't he? He knows what the problem is. Why can't he take care of it? You're gonna make me come back for another hearing to beg the city to, hey, stop harassing your citizens, but take care of a problem.
What happened with the 2021 case? Was there an order entered? And if so, what was that order? I mean, is this the order finding violation? Okay, so I'm looking at,
Verbally, what took place at that hearing, it was put back into the city's lap to determine the property lines. No one contacted me. I could walk them out there and walk the property lines.
so let me read this. It is the order of the special magistrate that the owner shall comply the above cited violations include removing the chain link pole within 30 days.
No, it's a property marker.
I'm just reading the order, sir. This is the order from that hearing. This is what the magistrate ordered. It is the order of the magistrate that the owner shall comply the above cited violations to include removing the chain link pole within 30 days. Additionally, it is the order of the special magistrate that the city shall investigate the above cited violations within 30 days to include determining ownership of the wood fence, or the city shall dismiss this case. So, what happened after that?
The city did not hire a surveyor. We don't survey private property, so that.
Well, I'm just telling you what the magistrate ordered the city to investigate the violations within 30 days, including determining ownership of the wood fence, or the city shall dismiss the case. That was what the magistrate ordered in 2021. I'm asking what happened. Is it as Mr. Little said, that the city didn't do anything and just let this ride? I mean, this is not clear to me that he owns, Mr. Little's making a good case here, and I'm if the city didn't do anything back in 2021, when that case ordered it to, and we just bring a new case with the exact same, at least in terms of the fence, the exact same allegations, unless you can tell me something has changed or show me evidence that something has changed, I'm not inclined to enter an order that's any different than this. I'm Show me the proof that that fence is on Mr. Little's property. The city has the burden to prove its case.
I understand.
The fence goes right to the house, does it not? It could pretty much attach to the house?
No, there's a
Doesn't do
backyard.
that?
No, there's a backyard, but it goes around, but if you look at the whole line of all the duplexes along Greenwood, you'll see that they're all lined up the same. Also, in that order that you just stated, that it was ordered to remove the pole, which the pole is still there. But however you choose to rule on that behalf, that is totally up to you. But even with the other violations, those were not cited before, so those would still stand.
May I please answer to that statement?
Yes, sir.
Or would I be interrupting?
No, go right ahead.
All right, that pole, I've now determined it to be a property marker. It's not a chain link fence pole anymore. So I'd like to keep it as a property marker. Plus, if no one followed up with it within 30 days. But it's definitely a property marker because this property line is always has problems. And for her to testify without to make a statement here without any evidence of every house is facing the same way on Windsor Avenue, it's a wrong statement. When you knowingly are not telling the truth at a hearing, I mean, I try to be frank, honest, and if I sound a little bit agitated, Special Master, I am a little bit agitated because this has been going on for years. And I just happened to find this paperwork this morning while I'm walking out of my office to bring with me. I'm glad I brought it because it sheds some light on this problem. But this has been going back even before Lois Frankel. And her and I had it out with meetings. And, you know, I'm tired of the once a year and a half shakedown that I'm getting.
I understand. Show me the photographs that deal with the landscape maintenance other than in the backyard.
In the current
Is
case
it
or
all
the-
in the backyard? Is everything in this case backyard, or was there landscape maintenance that's on the front?
Not on the front, nothing was ever on the front.
Okay, so everything's in the back.
It was on the back and on the side, and like I said, someone
Well,
came.
show me the
and-
Can I
side.
assist you with answering that
That's,
question?
that's the side with the overgrowth, the overgrowth grass. Okay.
Everything that she brought up is not on my property. I do have a landscaper, and I've given him very specific directions on cutting that property because it's been in dispute for many, many years.
Well, the picture I just looked at was between two buildings. It was not it was in the side yard.
Yeah,
That's,
that's the left hand, or you want to call it the south side. Someone owns the building, or if you look at the picture, someone owns the building to the right, I own the building to the left.
Right.
The building to the right put up that fence facing the wrong way.
I'm not talking about the fence, I'm talking about the overgrown grass. The fence, I'm not,
That was before, and then this is after. That was a before picture. And I've already gone after my lawn maintenance guy on that. When he was doing trimming, I said, you haven't cut back here in a couple weeks.
Okay.
And I think that it's because the tenant has so much garbage back there that he's not cutting.
okay,
And I
so-
can admit the tenant, this is all because I gave the tenant a 15-day notice to move out. So they call code enforcement. They're professional tenants. And this is why I'm standing here.
so let me ask City, has that been complied or is that still in violation, the
I'm-
overgrown grass on the side of the house?
I have some photos, for current, that part should have been cut.
Is it complied?
Yes, that, on the side, that part has been cut.
Again, I
it's
don't want to talk about the back, I want to talk about.
Yes, that side, the grass has been cut, it's just the.
Okay. It has been
fence.
cut.
Yes.
So that on the side is what,
On
and
the
there's
side
nothing
is
in the front?
complied. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Magistrate, if I could add one thing.
Yes, sir.
And Mr. Little, isn't this fence, the wooden fence go across the back of your property?
No, that was put up 22 years ago. I had the back unit rented. Guy had kids. The kids kept on running out on the railroad tracks. Someone put up a fence. I think it was a guy who worked for the railroad, put up the fence to keep the kids from going. But the fence is a good 4.5 feet on the railroad property. Since then, the railroad has not maintained vegetation or anything. The only reason why that fence is standing is because of the vines holding it up. But that is not on my property. Those were the pictures we did a year and a half ago. And I'm not here to argue. If it was on my property, it'd be nothing for me to hire people to go and clean it out. But I've already done it once. I'm not gonna keep on going on trespassing on property to clean up something that they don't want to maintain and the city doesn't want to make a phone call. Joyce, you've had enough time to make a phone call. The problem isn't just my property. You've got other people who put up illegal fences 5 feet further onto the federal property. So when she's standing there looking, that building to the right, their fence is 5 feet further onto the federal property. Don't stand here and shake your head no, when in fact I see it. You can see it in the picture.
Okay.
But the thing is,
I'm
stating
Mr.
facts.
Little, my turn again. I've been extremely lenient, but I'm not gonna have you verbally badger. If you have a question, you can ask the question. If you want to make an argument, you make it to me. I'm not gonna have this verbal attack against the city staff. That's completely inappropriate. Do you have anything that you would like to tell me about the alleged violations regarding the building itself? The wall, the condition of the door frame and that
The
sort
door
of thing?
frame is broken by the tenant. The door frame has been fixed. Weather stripping needs to be put in. I do not wish to go back on the property until the professional tenant is off the property.
Okay,
It did get verbal, I mean, it got physical with her son
okay,
because they broke the door. I had my guy fix the door. Going through the permits, property was purchased from the VA 25 and a half years ago. These walls were there at the time of me purchasing it. It's nothing that I put up. I actually went and cut into the plaster wall. It's plaster, not drywall. There's a good 12, 13 layers of paint on that wall. So I went all the way down to lead-based paint. It was not something that I put up. I don't call the place a 3-bedroom. There is no closet in there. Is it illegal? I do not believe it was illegal. It was built with the property because it does have the plaster in it. Built with the property. Permits were pulled when the building was built. Like I said, I've had more than 3 building inspections on that property, going from electrical, plumbing to other items. I've had 2 code enforcement inspections on there for my first business that I own the property in for licensing, and my second business of owning it, and haven't had the problem. My wife is here to actually say, when we bought it, you tell them.
The wall was there when we purchased.
well, I need to get your name,
Oh.
ma'am, please.
Oh, tell them your name.
Shamron Little.
Thank you very much, go ahead.
Yes, the wall was there when we purchased the property, so we did not, install that wall.
And, I was looking for pictures, but the property never went on the MLS when I purchased. It was one of those behind the door foreclosure deals that happened back in the 90s.
Okay,
So, there's no evidence that it's, unless she's saying yes it is, Joyce is saying yes it is, but there's no evidence that that is a unpermitted wall. We don't have, the permit, I have the permit here, so I'm asking for you to
permit
disregard
for
it.
the wall?
What?
You have a permit for that?
No, for the building permit, for 1960 when they built the building.
Can I, if that's available, can I take a look at that?
No, I don't, I said I
Oh, I
don't
thought you
have
said,
it.
I'm sorry, I
No.
thought you said you had it,
The
that's
burden's
why.
not on me. No, I don't have that, no.
I
Kinda
misunderstood.
wish I did.
Okay,
But it was built before I was born. But, like I said, we've owned it for many years. I'm not here to cause problems with the city. I might sound kind of agitated just because it's the same thing of spending hours to prep. And can I say one more thing? I went to her, and tried to work out things. I said, you're telling me rotten wood, you're telling me this. Can you show me pictures of the rotten wood so I can fix it before the hearing? And she hands me a piece of paper of, you have to go and request your pictures. I said, just show me a picture on your computer of this, and they wouldn't even give that to me. So I have to come here and take up court time to resolve this stuff. Here's what they gave me when I showed up there. Hand me this piece of paper right here. This is how you get your pictures. Or you come to a hearing and they put them up on the big screen. And this was back, what's the date on there? Right there?
November 14th.
No, it was November 14th. when I came, because this was my parking pass. So if you want stuff done in this city, let's go back to the old way of working with the residents instead of hashing it out in the chambers here. If you worked with me, I wouldn't be standing here.
All
I
right.
have a follow-up question, if I may.
All right, thank you, Mr. Little. Let me come back. Does the city have anything else to put on the record in this case?
I have a follow-up question for Mr. Little, if I may.
You may.
Okay. Mr. Little, you talked about that you don't want to go back in the property until the tenant is out. What's the status of that eviction?
What is the status with Daniel Rose?
Did-
I got an email last night from the attorney. I didn't open it. Come to find out, he's told me that she's a professional tenant. So it's gonna have to go in front of the judges. And from what I see right now, the judges are not evicting fast. So, like I said, I don't want to go there just because her son got a little bit physical with me. And and it's gonna be me who's gonna go on that property because I want to see everything. But
So would it be your understanding that the official court eviction process hasn't started yet? Is that what we're looking at?
I think he filed the paperwork already.
I want to say something different because one of the papers that was sent out was defective on a date. I think the new paper's going out today. That's what I got yesterday on the phone.
Okay, I'm just trying to
There was
understand.
a defect on a notice that was sent out by his law firm.
Okay, I'm just trying to figure out the
So,
potential timing.
I
that's all.
will take care of that, so it's gonna be quite a few days. I mean, as soon as the tenant's out, I'll bring in the contractor, my brother, and if it even needs a permit. I think that, the one guy fixed it, it just needs weather stripping put in, that's no big deal. And maybe some touch-up paint, other than there's no rotten wood. And I just want to make sure that we've covered everything. Give me just 1 second, if you would, please. All right, so yeah, the wall, well, I think we covered that. There's no evidence that it is a non-permitted structure. And the front door, I'll weather tight it. We'll get it going. The problem is they let the doors flap in the wind and the frame breaks and it gets fixed.
Okay.
So that'll be fixed as soon as the tenant's out.
All right, anything else from the city? Anything else, Mr. Little? Any final?
Good.
All right, here's what I'm gonna do in this case, and, this isn't gonna make anybody happy, but that's okay, because, first I'm gonna find proper notice. Respondent is present, the city has proper notice documents in its file. Based on the testimony and the evidence, I am gonna find violations of City Code 9471E regarding the outdoor storage, and 18103B regarding the condition of the structure relative to the door frames. I think is what the photograph showed needed to be worked on. I am not going to find violations of any of the other code sections. I don't think there's sufficient evidence to establish that the overgrown vegetation and the fence in the rear is on the respondent's property. If the city wants to bring this case back and establish with a survey or whatever, but bring clear and convincing evidence that that is on Mr. Little's property, the city's free to do that, but, given what happened in 2021 and what I've been presented with today, I don't think that it's been proved that that is actually on your property, Mr. Little. So I'm not finding violations of that stuff. Nor am I going to find a violation today of 105.1. I just don't think there's enough evidence for me to find a violation. I'm not saying that it is a violation, but I didn't hear anything from anybody in the building department. And if we're talking about structural allegations of structural building code violations, that's what I would want to have in order to make that finding. So the city may very well bring either of those alleged violations back, Mr. Little, but I'm not finding violations of those today based on what I've been presented with. For the violations that I have found, I'm going to allow you 90 days to cure those. Hopefully by then your tenant will be out
That's
of the
fair.
property.
I'll take care
If,
Can I,
well, hang on, let me finish my order. If it's not cured within the 90 days, I will assess daily fines of $100 per day until compliance.
can we do
is achieved.
$25, sir?
No, sir. That is my order in this case. You know, I hope that this, and clearly, you know, if this was here in 2021 and reached a similar conclusion, and that you're back today, I do hope that this gets, somehow a period is put on this issue one way or the
No
other.
problem.
But that is my order for this case today, and you'll get a copy
Can
of
I
that.
clear
order.
up one thing?
Beg your pardon?
Get some clarity. You said 90 days, $100, correct?
Yes, sir.
Now, when this tenant is out, everything's fixed, everything's working hunky-dory.
You need to let them know so that they can
Just one second.
inspect.
Who is gonna be them? I don't really wanna
You need to
deal-
let code, you
Yeah.
need to let code enforcement know, I have no authority and I'm not going to.
Well, I'd like to clarify it because I could be doing the wrong thing, because from what I understand, Mr. Joyce is not gonna be here in 90 days. I don't wanna deal with this code officer again because of just some comments that were made in here. I mean, is there a seasoned code enforcement officer that's gonna be here in 90 days that I could work with in this?
Again,
program?
that is above my pay grade. I have no authority to tell the city how to run its code enforcement division.
All right, Special Master, I
All right,
appreciate it.
yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's theirs.
Number 5, 4201 Parker Avenue, CE 231000928.
Good morning. I'm Richard Pasmino with the City of West Palm Beach Code Enforcement.
Good morning.
Morning. The property at 4201 Parker Avenue was cited on October 25th. Certified mail was sent out October 26th. It was signed and received on October 28th. In addition, the property and City Hall were both posted on November 1st. This property was cited for landscape maintenance. The grass and plants and trees on the property were not being maintained in a regular manner. Paved and marked parking. The parking lot / driveway at the property has potholes, faded directional signs, and stained surfaces. Excessive growth, specifically the weeds, grass, and trees. In violation of clean and sanitary, there's trash and debris on the premises, and dumpster screening requirements. The dumpster enclosure at the property was damaged and in disrepair, missing several planks and not being closed properly. I don't know if we want to wait for the photos.
Officer, while we wait, is there an executed affidavit of posting in your file?
Yes, it was completed. It's the same day I
And-
posted.
I apologize, because there was a little interruption there. Again, just for the record, notice of violation was sent out by regular first-class mail.
Yes, it was.
The photos that we're about to see, will they truthfully and accurately depict and represent the alleged violations that you've observed at the property?
Yes, they will.
All right.
In regards to the notice in this case, I have had contact with the business owner of the property. He's here today. And since the case was created, he has been working on fixing the violations and has made quite progress.
Okay. And just for the record, this is a strip plaza, a shopping plaza, what is this?
Yeah, it's a drive-through mart
Okay.
right off of Parker Avenue. So the parcel's actually like a weird-shaped parcel. They don't have any parking spots. It's like a drive-through convenience store.
Thank you.
So that's the property, that's the business. The only thing on the property. It's a small landscaped area, and then the garbage enclosure, and then the actual structure.
What,
So these are the initial inspection photos.
okay.
Some of the landscaping, including the weeds growing off in the cracks on
All
the
right,
building.
that's what I was gonna ask, what we're talking about with landscape maintenance.
There'll be better photos as well. That's the potholes in the paved surface of the driveway.
Yeah.
So the landscaping right there as well, there's trash debris, overgrown in between the bushes and hedges, and palm fronds hanging over, overgrown tree. Landscape maintenance. Along the swale area, the overgrowth of the grass.
Okay. Is it that the gates need to be repaired, or?
Yeah, so the gates were broken, and you can see it's dragging on the floor, not closing properly. And there'll be some more photos showing the other side where there was some rotted wood, and missing planks. I thought there was, but yeah, the gate's damaged, and you can kind of see where you can see right through it.
Is that still how it is?
So as of today, the only violation remaining is 9445B1 for the paved and marked parking.
Okay.
That's the only outstanding violation. Everything else
applied?
has been complied.
Thank you.
So to comply that violation, it requires a permit to be pulled and to be approved before the work can be done. That being said, the tenant, the owner of the property, the owner of the business, has to pull a survey, and there's been some delay with that.
So I need the survey to get the permit to do the
Yes.
parking area?
Yes.
Gotcha. How much time?
Yeah, there were no
What's your,
permits.
what's your recommendation?
The city's recommending 120 days to get the survey, go through the permit process, make any changes that might be necessary, and get the work done to comply with that code section. 120 days or $100 a day, if not.
Thank you.
And you believe 120 days is reasonable to do all those things?
Yes.
Okay. I don't have anything further. The city would submit as evidence a copy of the case file, including the notice of violation, affidavit of posting, pop-up printout sheet, certified mailing documents, and photographs.
All right, city's documents are made part of the record in this case. Sir, if you'd like to give me your name and address, then you can tell me about the case.
Hi, good morning. Jahir Ahmed, address is 4201 Parker Avenue.
And you are the owner?
I am the business owner.
All right, sounds like you got a lot of this taken care of already.
Yes.
All right.
The only thing was holding me is the permitting thing and the survey done. Now, I did came to the city, and after the meeting with one of the code enforcement, I called survey companies, and they should be getting it done end of this month. So once I get the survey done, then I already have the contractor ready. So he's going to apply for the permit to do the parking lot. That is the last thing needs to be done.
All right, well, it sounds like the city's recommendation for 120 days to get this done is certainly
I think it should be a
sufficient.
reasonable time to get it done. Yes.
Okay, very good. Is there anything else you'd like to tell me, sir?
No,
Anything
thank you
else
so
from the
much.
city?
No.
Okay, then we have proper notice. Respondent is present at today's hearing, and the city has the proper notice documents in its file. Based on the testimony and the evidence, I will find the property has complied with all of the violations alleged in the notice, with the exception of 94-485B1E regarding the paved parking area. That still remains in violation. I'll allow 120 days to cure that violation, get it through the permitting and completion process. I think we said April 3rd is 120 days. If compliance is not achieved by that date, daily fines of $100 per day are assessed until compliance is achieved. Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank
Good
you.
luck. Yeah.
That's all we have for contested cases at this time. Number 1 is complied, 822 29th Street, CE 23110980. Number 2 is rescheduled, 2100 45th Street, B22, CE 22120146. Number 4 is complied, 705 35th Street, CE 23110989. Number 7 is rescheduled, 7629 South Dixie Highway, CE 23050010. Number 8 is rescheduled, 120 South Olive Avenue, number 500, CE 23040241. Number 9 is rescheduled, 534 Puritan Road, CE 23050005. Number 11 is rescheduled, 294 Cordova Road, CE 22090213. Number 12 is rescheduled, 2473 Tucumcari Street Drive, CE 22040403. Number 13, 702 50th Street, CE 23111005.
City of West Palm Beach Code Officer Robert Watkins. This property was cited on November the 7th. Certified mail was sent November the 7th. Certified City Hall and property was posted November 9th. This property was cited for abandoned junk vehicle, outdoor storage, address characters, trash can in public view, and a permit for the fence. As of yesterday, all violations have come into compliance except for the outdoor storage and trash and debris. Yep, oh no, sorry about that. The outdoor storage is the only one that's still currently, as of yesterday, out of compliance. With this, the city is requesting additional 20 days at $50 per day after until compliance is achieved.
Thank you. Is there an executed affidavit of posting in your file?
Yes,
Does that affidavit reflect that the notice of violation was also sent by regular first-class mail?
yes, it does.
The photos that we'll be reviewing or have been reviewing, do they truthfully and accurately depict and represent the alleged violations that you've observed?
Yes,
And have you had any contact with an owner or agent of the property?
just again this morning with the owner,
All right.
wanting the city to manage the property, but I let her know that until the outdoor storage, the bins and all that stuff in the rear was removed, it was still being out of compliance.
Just for the record, with regard to the outstanding alleged violation for outdoor storage, could you tell us what it is you observed?
Yeah, there's green storage bins. It seems like a sofa that has a yellow cover. It was in the early pictures on the side. Those are the only things left on the side of the property.
Okay, thank you. Do you believe that 20 days is a reasonable amount of time to get this done?
Yes.
All right, thank you. And your last inspection was?
Yesterday.
Yesterday. Very good, thank you. Special Magistrate, the city would like to submit as evidence a copy of the case file, including but not limited to including the notice of violation, affidavit of posting, pop-up printout sheet, certified mailing documents, and photographs.
Thank you. The city, those documents are part of the record in this case. The respondent is not present. However, the city has proper notice with the certified mail and the posting contained in the city's file. Based on the testimony and the evidence, I will find the property remains in violation of City Code 9471C, but has complied with all other alleged violations that were contained in the notice. I'll allow 20 additional days for compliance. After that, daily fines of $50 per day are assessed until compliance is achieved.
Number 14 is rescheduled, 5015 North Flagler Drive, CE 23090728. Number 15, 854th Street, CE 23110986.
City of West Palm Beach Code Officer Robert Watkins. This property was cited November the 2nd. Certified mail was sent November the 2nd. City Hall and property was posted November 6th. This property was cited for a repeat violation, outdoor storage, parking requirements, not having window screens, condition of the bathrooms. Their plumbing was flooding out the restrooms and the unit. And condition of the structure, there was cracks and everything outside of 2 of the units. And outdoor storage, clean and sanitary for all the trash and debris that was on the property. And paint, some of the units in the front had discoloration from dirt and grime on the walls. As of yesterday, all violations had come into compliance. As for the repeat violation, it was a repeat for the case CE 22070334 that was cited July the 20th, 2022. The affidavit of non-compliance for that is also in the case file. And for October, the repeat violations ran for a total of 31 days, and the city is requesting 31 days of it running out of compliance for $75 per day at a total of $2,700 for the repeat violation.
Okay, so I have some questions. Is there an executed affidavit of posting in your file?
Yes, there is.
Does that affidavit reflect that the notice of violation was also sent by regular first-class mail?
Yes, there is.
The photographs that we've been reviewing, do they truthfully and accurately depict and represent the alleged violations that you've observed in this case?
Yes.
With respect to the repeat, which code sections
It
are
would-
you alleging are repeat, or all of them?
It was for the outdoor storage, the trash and debris, or for the repeat.
Okay, wait a minute. So outdoor storage is 9471C,
Yes, ma'am.
and you're saying trash and debris, is that gonna be the 18106A?
That is going to be, make sure I tell you correctly. Yes, ma'am.
18106A, okay. So for case number, the underlying case number that you told us about the notice of violation, and you had mentioned there was an affidavit of non-compliance. Did you
Yes,
mean
it-
compliance?
It's also attached. That was for the repeat. It did come into compliance.
Okay,
Yes,
so
ma'am.
there is an affidavit of compliance in the underlying case
Yes, ma'am.
that these two came into compliance,
Yes, ma'am.
okay. And with respect to, you mentioned that in October was when you first noticed these repeat violations. Do you have a date in October for the record?
No, the October was for the repeat, the original case for the repeat. I was just letting you know that's when it came into compliance. It was out for 3 days for the underlying case, which caused this to be a repeat. It's
Oh,
also in the
Excuse me, I see. Okay, so when was it that you first noticed in this case?
November the 2nd.
November the 2nd, thank you very much. And then it came into compliance 31 days after that, which was, does that make it December 1st?
It's, yeah, 30, sorry, it was 36 days. Ma'am, I spoke wrong on that. It was 36 days that it came in. It ran all the way to, make sure I tell you correctly here.
Should be somewhere around 12/8, right?
Yeah, I think it was, 12, it's actually, it's in the, yeah, it'll be an image, yes, ma'am. No, it's in the images. I'll just get it off the picture there. It'll be in the folder. If I'm not mistaken on there, it'll be 12/12. It'll be the date. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Am I scrolling up to where it shows the picture of the outside?
There. Yeah. Okay, very good. All right. And for the record, I want to get the underlying, based on the repeat, taken care of first. So in that underlying case, just for the record, can we show the actual order?
Yeah, that's in there as well. No, it don't say it.
finding of fact? Maybe? And, yeah, finding of, okay, go ahead, yeah. So that's the non-compliance. And, no, finding of fact? Yeah, that please. Okay, so we have 18106A and 9471C, and then is there something that shows that it did come into compliance later on? Repeat compliant. Oh, that was in this case, though, the current case. Is that the underlying case, or that's the current case photos? Okay. So it's your testimony that the underlying case, based on the repeat violations of 9471C and 18106A, it's your testimony that those came into compliance in, I think you said October of 22?
Those came into compliance on October 31st, 2020, oh, sorry, November the 3rd, 2022. It was out of compliance on October 31st, 2022. It was out of compliance for 3 days.
Okay. All right, very good. And then you observed these current alleged violations on November 2nd
Yes, ma'am.
of 9471C and 18106A, and they went until they were complied on 12/12, correct?
Yes.
Okay, very good. And again, for the record, can you tell us what it is that you saw in outdoor storage and what you saw in 18106A, clean and sanitary, so that the testimony is clear?
In the main violation images folder, there was bins, storage bins all outside. There was like homemade garden. Right next to that, there was, if I'm not mistaken, ladders and more bins and things just stored outside. When it came down to the trash and debris, the trash can was overflowed. The vehicle, inoperable vehicles, you can see in the pictures there were several with no license plates on them. There was a couple of them with broken windows and part on the unpaved areas. The paint and pressure wash issue, you can see right there, there's more bins. There were just bins stored all over the little courtyard area, just plastic bins. I don't know why, but.
Okay, thank you. And are you seeking a finding of fact on any of the alleged violations that came into compliance before today?
No, ma'am, they came into compliance prior to
The deadline?
deadline.
Yeah, in the notice of violation. Very good. I don't have anything further. Do you have anything further, officer?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you very much. Special Magistrate, the city would like to submit as evidence a copy of the case file, including the current notice of violation, affidavit of posting, pop-up printout sheet, certified mailing documents and photos, as well as the underlying case testified to in regards to all of those documents, including the notice of violation there, the order, compliance, and the documents in that case. Thank you.
The reference documents are made part of the record, including the case file from case number 2207334, which establishes the repeat nature of this case. I do find proper notice for today's hearing and the violation with the certified mail and the posting, even though the respondent is not present. Based on the testimony and the evidence, I will find that the property was properly cited, violations came into compliance timely. I do find that the violations of 9471C and 18106A are repeat violations based on the previous case 2207334. Based on the evidence, I find that those violations were out of compliance for a total of 36 days. I will impose daily fines of $75 per day for each of those 36 days for a total of $2,700.
Number 16, 524 50th Street, CE 23090733.
City of West Palm Beach Code Officer Robert Watkins. This property was cited September 26th. Certified mail was sent November the 7th. City Hall was posted November the 7th. This was a reschedule from then because a clerical had an error with sending it out. This property was cited for landscape maintenance. Landscape maintenance, clean and sanitary, trash can and public view, and sodding of bare areas. As of yesterday, the only item that came into compliance was a trash can and public view. I've had correspondence earlier in last year, with the owner in reference to having the issues taken care of with the grass and the overgrowth, but nothing has come since then. So the city is requesting an additional 30 days at $100 per day after.
Okay, just a couple of questions, please. Is there an executed affidavit of posting in your file?
Yes, there is.
I think you said that this had been, did I get this wrong, previously scheduled and now rescheduled? Or
Yes,
no?
it was actually scheduled for a hearing ago, but I didn't see that any of the certified stuff was sent out. So then I just redid the whole thing, and now that's why the date is
Okay,
from
very good.
September to now.
Thank you. And was the notice of violation posted at the property?
Yes, it was.
And was the notice of violation sent by regular first-class mail?
Yes, it was.
Photographs that we're reviewing, do they truthfully and accurately depict and represent the alleged violations that you've observed?
Yes, they do.
And for the ones that still remain, landscaping, clean and sanitary, and I think you had said the areas of sod. Can you just tell us for the record what it is that
right
you
there.
observed?
There are bare areas such as this on the east side and the west side of the driveway.
Okay. And for clean and sanitary, what did you observe?
There's trash and just trash scrolled all around on the hedges along the sidewalk.
Okay. And do you believe that 30 days is a reasonable amount of time within which to bring these alleged violations into compliance?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, thank you very much. Anything further, Officer Watkins?
No.
Okay, thank you. Special Magistrate, the city would like to submit as evidence a copy of the case file, including the notice of violation, affidavit of posting, pop-up printout sheet, certified mailing documents, and photographs.
You know, everything that you needed to say into the, are you good? You ready for me to?
Yes, sir.
Okay. The documents that have been referenced and cited are part of the record in this case. I will find proper notice for the violation in today's hearing, even though the respondent is not present. The city has proper notice documents in its file. Based on the testimony and the evidence, the property remains in violation as cited, except for compliance with 7434A1H. I will allow 30 additional days to cure the outstanding violations. After that, daily fines of $100 per day are assessed until compliance is achieved.
Number 17 is complied, 496 17th Street, CE 231000963. Number 18 is complied, 490 17th Street, CE 231100970. Number 19, 1026 State Street, CE 2311117.
Good morning, Officer Underwood, City West Palm Beach Code Enforcement. Property 1026 State Street was initially cited on November 29th, 2023. Certified mail was sent out November 29th. Both City Hall and the property were posted November 29th. Certified mail was returned December 7th. This property was cited for outdoor storage, excessive growth, paint, and clean and sanitary conditions. I have met with the owner during my initial inspection and advised them of the violations, and they told me they were going to work on cleaning the place up, which they have. In my inspection yesterday, I went out there and they have cut some of the grass, as you can see in the newer pictures that are coming up. There's still outstanding outdoor storage, paint, and trash and debris. The city's requesting 20 days or $50 there a day after to compliance is achieved.
Thank you very much. Is there an executed affidavit of posting in your file?
Yes, there is.
Does that affidavit reflect that the notice of violation was also sent by regular first-class mail?
Yes.
The photographs that we're reviewing, do they truthfully and accurately depict and represent the alleged violations that you've observed?
Yes, they do.
And with respect to the remaining alleged violations, can you please tell us for the record what it is you observed?
The outdoor storage specifically, if you go back to the pictures. There's a washer, or a stove or something on the front porch. Miscellaneous stuff spread out the whole property, tires. Keep going.
Oh, there's the stove.
Scrap metal, all kinds of stuff. Trash and debris, same thing, classifying whether it's outdoor storage or trash and debris. It's pieces of metal, car parts, tires, all kinds of stuff. Paint, obviously the structure needs paint. There's missing sections of the walls the paint has been stripped off, as you can see in the pictures. The excessive growth has been complied. They have cut the front grass, so we're not going to leave that one there, but everything else remains.
Thank you. Do you believe that 20 days is a reasonable amount of time within which to bring these alleged violations into compliance?
Yes, I do.
Thank you very much. Anything further, officer?
Nope.
Thank you. Special Magistrate, the city would like to submit as evidence a copy of the case file, including the notice of violation, affidavit of posting, pump printout sheet, certified mailing documents, and photographs.
All right, the city's documents as referenced are part of the record in this case. I do find proper notice with the certified mail followed by the posting, even though the respondent is not present at today's hearing. Based on the evidence, I find the property remains in violation as cited with the exception of 18106B regarding excessive growth, which has complied. I'll allow 20 additional days to cure the outstanding violations. After that, daily fines of $50 per day are assessed until compliance is
100,
achieved.
100, sir.
100. Beg your pardon?
100 per day.
100, I'm sorry, I didn't hear you
100 per
correctly.
day.
I will accept that recommendation and do $100 per day.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Number 20 is complied, 1032 State Street, CE 23111120. Number 21 is complied, 484 17th Street, CE 23110971. And that completes the first part of the agenda.
All right, we reconvene at 11 o'clock, is that right? Yep, all right, we'll go off the record. It's 10:45, we'll be back in 15.
It's 11:30, right?
Right, 11:30?
Is it 11:30 for?
I don't know.
we good? Oh,
Yeah, we need our presenter.
I guess we would need him.
all right, are we ready? Yes. Yeah? There you are. Are we ready? Yes. Okay. All right, let's call to order and go back on the record the other matter agenda for City of West Palm Beach Code Enforcement hearing. My name is Keith Davis. I'm the special magistrate appointed by the city to preside over this morning's agenda. If you're going to be speaking to me about any of these matters, I need you to be sworn in. I can place everybody under oath at the same time. If you please stand and raise your right hands. If you're going to be speaking to me about these cases, do each of you swear or affirm under penalties of perjury that your testimony today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Yes. Got it. You can have a seat. When your case is called, you can come up to the podium to my right. The city is going to give me a little background information on the reduction request, and then I will come over to you and you can make a presentation. Once I've heard everything, I should, in all likelihood, enter an order today on the request. If you have any cell phones, please silence those so they don't interrupt the proceedings. That will be appreciated. And I think with that, we can call the first case.
First case number 22-513 Erie Place, CE 210100188. Number 22-513 Erie Place.
Good morning, Officer Williams, City of West Palm Beach Code Enforcement. The address at 513 Erie Place was originally cited December 29th, 2020. They were cited for needing to obtain a boarding certificate, needing to secure the property, overgrowth of the rear and front yard, and they needed to cut and maintain half of the alley or easement there to the adjacent property. This was ordered to go to a magistrate hearing on February 17th, 2021. It was ordered for the fine to start running as of March 5th, 2021, and that ran for 291 days at $150 a day, for a total of $43,650. This was complied December 21st, 2021. All of these violations occurred under the previous owner. This is the new owner here today who has worked to get the violations complied as well as rehab the entire property. So the city requests a reduction of 15% or $6,547.50.
All right, thank you. Yes, ma'am, go ahead and put your name and address on the record, and then you can proceed.
Good morning, Your Magistrate. Good morning, Officer Marquez, and good morning to everyone. I just want to tell you more or less the facts, what happened there. I purchased the property in December 21, in the beginning of December, and I saw a notice on the mailbox in regards to what had happened, and it was my first knowing of what had happened as far as needing to bring it to compliance and things of that matter. I right away contacted the city of West Palm Beach, and I did everything that I needed to do within a period of less than a week. I complied with everything. I contacted them, and on the 21st, not even 2 weeks after I purchased the property, I went ahead and I took care of it right away. So I did everything that I needed to do. Originally, I purchased that property from my mother, who lived in New York, a senior citizen, and it was my dream, right, to purchase this property, fix it, and for her to be there. But unfortunately, it took a period of 2 years for me to be completed with the project. It was during the time of where things were not normal as they are today, and just a lot of delays with getting the permits. It took about almost a year and a half to get the permits going. During that time, I carried the expenses of the property. Mortgage, I mortgaged the property through a hard money lender. It cost me $24,000 to the first year, and another so $48,000 in just mortgage payments alone. I also paid $300,000. The property officer, Marcus, has seen it. It's a beautiful home. It was a burnt home, and everything was redone in that property. An addition was, I built it for my mother to come live in that property. So it was originally, I believe, 1,500 square feet. Today it stands at almost 2,200. It sits, and it has done beautiful upgrades to the property. I also paid insurance about $12,000 and taxes about $12,000 during those 2 years. I just, unfortunately, my mother, because it took too long, we bought a condo for her in Century Village, and she fell in love with her condo. Her being a New Yorker, she said, you can keep your home. And our daughter is going to go live in that property, which today she's in the hospital. She's having her first baby, and I'm very excited.
How exciting.
She's in the hospital. Just coincidental how God works it all out. But I just cannot see myself coming up with the funds.
Let me just stop you. Is this the same house?
That's the finished product.
Really? That's
Yes,
remarkable.
I'm very.
I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I was looking at the pictures of before.
I raised the
okay.
ceilings, and it's a 3-3. It's a beautiful property. It was my dream. So I told my mom, I live my dream, whether you move in it or not. I mean, I bought her a condo, and she's happy there, and that's what matters. She's in her 80s, and
Sure. Now, how is this being used at this point?
so our youngest daughter is going to go live there, who's having her first baby.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's going to stay in the family. I'm excited for the home, for the neighbors. It definitely has made a change in that community, and I'm grateful for that.
All right. Is there anything else you'd like to tell me, ma'am?
I just really, what I'm offering is to be able to pay $500 is what I can afford, is what I can write a check for today, and I just can't see myself paying a cent more.
How much did you put into this to turn it around?
I put $300 on the construction, $48,000 in mortgage for 2 years, and another $24,000 between taxes and insurance, because unfortunately, insurance in the state of Florida is extremely expensive. So my insurance.
Really? I hadn't heard.
Yeah, it's about $6,000 a year now.
I'm kidding.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, thank you. Is there anything else from the city?
No, sir.
On this? You may get the deal of the day because I'm so impressed with everything you told me and what I've seen. I'm gonna reduce this to your request of $500. Can you pay that within the next 30 days? So ordered.
Thank you.
Good luck with the
Thank you.
grandbaby.
Thank you.
Yes,
Happy
ma'am.
New Year. God bless you.
Here's a copy of your order. Number 23, 317 Coniston Road, CE 20040124.
I set the bar pretty high for myself there.
Right. Officer Williams, City of West Palm Beach
Morning.
Code Enforcement. The property at 317 Coniston Road was originally cited on April 27th, 2020. They were cited for needing to obtain a business license and rental license as well as COU for the rental of the property. This went to a magistrate hearing June 17th, 2020. It was ordered for the fine to start running as of June 28th, 2020. That ran for 68 days at $250 a day for a total of $17,000. This was complied September 4th, 2020. It's the same ownership. This service was achieved by way of posting. There's been 5 cases under their ownership. So the city is requesting a reduction of 25% of the lien, or a total of $4,250.
25% is 4,250. And say it again. A little bit of an echo. Did you say that they have 5 other properties in the city?
5 other cases under
5
their
other cases
ownership
on
at
the same
this location. Yes,
Are
sir.
they active or are they all closed?
They were all closed, all previous
closed.
cases.
Over what period of time were those 5 cases?
For a span of, I think it was about 5 years.
Okay. Like the most, like from here back to 2017 or so?
Pretty much, yes, sir.
Okay. Good morning, folks. Who am I going to hear from?
My name is Sean Perkins. I'm the attorney with Pinkowski Lazarus here in town. We represent Miss Mary Wagner.
Yes, sir. Okay.
So, to the extent you want to hear from Miss Wagner, she's here. She's 97. I would represent in front of you. This was a time there were no tenants in the property.
Yes.
She was accustomed to receiving notice in the mail. She did not receive it. It was a period of time when COVID came about and things were very different, unlike anything she'd seen in her life before. We are here today asking, we're here on 2 different matters, 23 and 27.
Okay.
Today we're not on 27, but I wanted to make you aware, Mr. Davis, that we are here on 2 substantial matters, so this isn't the only one we'll be addressing today.
Okay. Well, why don't we we'll talk about this one, and then while you're here, we'll jump to the next one so that we take care of both of them for you. All right. So this 317 Coniston is a rental property, but during the time of the code enforcement proceedings, you're saying there were no tenants occupying. Is that correct?
We confirm that 317 Coniston Road is a rental property. What was the second part?
But I think you said there were no tenants actually using it in 2020 when the code enforcement case came about.
Would you agree that in 2020, in the spring and summer, there were no tenants in 317 Coniston Road?
Yes. I guess so.
Did anybody come to the code enforcement hearing back then? Do you know?
My understanding, let me be candid with you, is there's a company called Meridian Trust Holdings.
Okay.
In January of this year, there's a contract which is the subject of 2 current circuit court cases in which they allege that Ms. Wagner signed over a property in Lake Worth.
I see.
Incidental to that, these 2 liens were discovered on the 2 properties, and in order to transfer any, you have to resolve all in the county. And they got involved with a gentleman by the name of Austin Weber, who worked for them, or one of their subsidiaries. He began the work to clear these titles. Because of the ongoing litigation brought both by Meridian Holdings and by Ms. Wagner regarding the same contract, they've decided not to attend today. So I'm here on her behalf with her because she didn't have a chance to sign the notarized form allowing me.
I had the understanding that this Austin, whatever his last name was, had already resolved all but one of them,
Okay.
all but one of the liens. And that's the one in 151st Street.
Okay.
But of course, they have to all be resolved.
right, I want to keep the record organized for the city, but I'd like to hear about agenda item 27, the 710 51st Street request as well.
Would you like me to go ahead and call that one as well?
Number 27, 710 51st Street, CE 211-00271.
Officer Williams, City of West Palm Beach Code Enforcement. The property at 710 51st Street was originally cited October 20th, 2021. They were cited for overgrowth of the yard, a garbage can in view of the public, trash and debris visible on the property, excessive overgrowth, as well as address characters needed on the property. This went to magistrate hearing December 1st, 2021. It was ordered for the fine to start running as of January 1st, 2022. That ran for 465 days at $100 a day for a total of $46,500. This was complied April 11th, 2023. Same ownership. At this particular address, there's been three cases with code enforcement under their ownership. Service was achieved by way of posting. And on this one, the city is requesting 25% reduction as well for a total of $11,625.
$11,625.
625.
625. And same question about the other three cases. When and are they all closed down at this time?
They are all closed out. These particular cases, again, were over the course of about 5 or 6 years.
Same time period?
Yes, sir.
5-year period?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let's, tell me about that one.
Well, and similarly, you can't hear me, can you?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, good. The property that we're talking about now on 51st Street was the same issue, and that's tenants. And in this matter, according to her leases, the tenants are responsible for maintenance of the grounds. I know that holds no weight with the city, but her belief at the time was that the tenants would deal with it. They weren't there, no one dealt with it. Now she's looking at a balance due equal to the equivalent of 25% of the property value.
Okay. How did it ultimately come to your attention and get resolved? What happened to?
Well, and again, this is subject to litigation, but there's a January 17th contract that she executed, the validity we contest, with this Meridian Trust Holdings. To get the clear title, they intervened in this through that Austin Weber and began the process of resolving the liens. But now, because of litigation, I'm here for lien reduction hearing.
Okay. Anything else the city wants to put on the record?
Just one point to bring out with the previous property, 317 Coniston.
Yep.
The case officer did put some notes in the system that she had spoken to PD and that she had come to know that there were tenants living in there at the time due to PD being called out to the residents some 8 times to deal with various different police-related matters at the address. And she was given permission from the owner to look in the windows, not to enter the property, but she was able to look in the windows, and she was able to observe that someone was at that time living there. This was in May of 2020.
So the officer's testimony at the time was that it appeared to be occupied?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Did you want to follow up with that, or?
Well, I would. Unfortunately, she's unable to hear what this gentleman says, and she would have the knowledge, not me personally, so I'm kind of caught between a rock and a hard place.
I mean,
What did everyone know?
and that's why I kind of asked if anybody had gone to the original code enforcement hearing on that one.
That would be Austin Weber, who my understanding is no longer is employed
Right.
by Meridian Trust Holdings.
Okay. All right, I got it. All right. These are both rental properties right now?
These are both rental properties right now?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. All right, here's what I'm gonna do with these. So we have two cases that we're considering. We have agenda item 23, which is case number 200400124. The address is 317 Coniston Road. Based on everything I've heard and the code requirements for what I'm required to consider, this is a $17,000 lien. I'm gonna reduce that to $1,500. In agenda item 27, case 21-100271, the address is 710 51st Street. I'm going to reduce that to $2,500. Can you pay both of those within the next 30 days?
Yes, sir.
All right, within 30 days, so ordered.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
May we get a judgment before we leave? Is there
You'll get a copy of the orders, and then you can take care of that.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Case number 24 and 29 for 702 42nd Street, CE 170802224, and number 29, CE 120202284.
Magistrate, before we get started with this specific case, there is an additional case under the same address that was found, previous ownership. That case number is CE 100203227, that we had found where there is a open lien still on that property.
That's not on today's agenda.
It was mistakenly left off the agenda.
Okay. Same address?
Same address, same owner.
What's
just
the
different.
lien amount on that one?
That one, the total amount was $315,750.
And there's a proper
balance.
application for the reduction on that?
Correct.
Okay, sounds like that's the big one, so we definitely want to deal with that.
Officer Williams, could you repeat that CE number on that one again?
Sure. CE 100203227.
Thank you so much.
All right, I mean, I'm prepared to handle it as long as the record is clear and the city's good adding that on.
Okay.
All right, let's go ahead and hear about all three, take them in order, agenda item 24 and then 29, and then do the add-on.
Sure. All right, so number 24, CE 170802224. This particular case was originally cited August 10th, 2017, for overgrowth and rotted wood needed to be replaced on the home. This went to magistrate hearings September 6, 2017. It was ordered for the fine to start running as of September 22nd, 2017. This ran for 1,631 days at $250 a day for a total of $407,750. This was complied on March 11th, 2022. Service was achieved by both posting and certified mail. This was done under the previous owner. This is the new owner here before us today, who is seeking to get these fines mitigated. So the city requests in this account a reduction of 5% of the lien, which is $20,387.50. Excuse me.
Okay.
The next matter, number 29, same address, case number CE 120202284. This case was cited on February 21st, 2012. trying to read the officer's notes. It's not making sense, sorry. For rental license violation, excuse me. This one went to hearing June 20th, 2012. It was ordered for the fine to start as of June 19th, 2012. It ran for 1 day, $250 a day. It was complied June 20th, 2012. So that fine stands at $250. The city will request the $250 on that one.
Request what?
It's $250.
Okay.
And this again was done, this was all under the previous owner.
Okay.
All right, so the one that was added, case number CE 100200327. This case was originally cited February 17th, 2010. They were cited for a permit needed for enclosing of the garage, and the red tag for this one was issued on February 4th, 2010. Again, this was the previous owner. This went to a magistrate hearing May 19th, 2010. It was ordered for the fine to start running as of July 19th, 2010. This ran for 4,210 days at $75 a day for a total of $315,750. This was complied January 27th, 2022. In doing my research for today's hearing, I did see that a payment was made for this particular fine back on July 6, 2020 for the amount of $59,908.01. After speaking to the new owner, he did confirm that the previous owner made that payment. So to date, there's a balance of $255,841.99.
Okay, give me the amount paid was 59,000.
$59,908.01.
The balance is?
The balance, $255,841.99.
So it kept accruing, that hadn't come into compliance when that $59,000 payment was made?
Correct. It didn't come into compliance until January 27th of 2022.
Okay.
But that payment was made July 6th of 2020.
So really, it's 255,841 is what we have today to deal with. All right, and what's city's recommendation on that one?
Okay, sorry about that. So being that there's already been an amount paid, we'd like to accept that as paid in full. And then
I think
address
that's a great idea.
The other fines.
Okay, so before I even get to you, sir, we'll enter an order on case 100200327 that lien has been paid in full and then there's a zero balance. For the sake of expediency and paperwork and such, I'm going to reduce the lien in case 120200284 from $250 to $0 and call that one a day as well. So let's just talk about case 170802224, which was this 2017 case, and we have a $407,750 lien. The city's recommended a reduction to 5% of that, which is $20,387.50. So go ahead and tell me your name and address, and then we can talk about that one.
Well, I appreciate your help with this. I bought the property in 2022, and
Your
as
name-
soon as I bought the property,
Your name first, please.
Huh?
Your name?
oh, sorry, my name is Maximo Arbelo.
Okay, and are you the manager of Bennett Investments, the current owner?
I'm representing MMM Real Estate Investment. I'm the one who bought the property and bring it to, the problem is I already sold it.
Okay,
I-
gotcha.
I'm waiting to close the sale on, I mean, it's closed, but it's against escrow. I couldn't get the
Okay.
money because of the cases.
All right, so this is a, this was minimum property standard type stuff, excessive growth, and some condition of the building, and it got up to over $400,000. This was a previous owner, though, is that correct? So, all right, tell me what your involvement has been with the property.
When I bought the property, to tell you the truth, it was a disaster. The property was a jungle, they can attest for that. And inside, it was completely destroyed. Besides, they was trying to do work without permit, completely out of code, something really crazy. But inside, there was like homeless people getting in there, and they broke all the walls, getting the wires out, all the pipe, everything. So as soon as I bought the property, I pulled all the permits, cleaned the house, I fixed the house and bring it to a beautiful state. I spent a lot of money, probably double that one I thought at first that I want to spend. But as soon as we went in and cleaned the property, we found the damage was more than what we thought. So, but I ended up putting the house in a beautiful condition. I can tell you without a doubt, that house must be the most updated and beautiful one in the whole area, and the whole quadra. So I just want the most, you can help me with this, because to tell you the truth, I already spent more than that I was expecting on this property.
Well, that was going to be my question. Do you have a sense for what you invested into it after you purchased it?
I ended up spending $174,000.
How much?
$174,000.
$174,000 you put into it after you acquired it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Pretty much redo the whole house completely.
All right. Anything else from the city on this
No, sir.
one? Anything else you'd like to tell me, sir? Anything else that you'd like to tell me?
No?
Okay. So this is a $407,750 lien. Based on the testimony and the evidence that I've been presented with in my review of the case, I'm going to reduce that to $2,500. How long will it take you to pay that?
As soon as possible.
30 days?
I can pay, yeah.
Okay, 30 days. Thank you. Good luck.
All right, thank you, appreciate your help.
Sir.
The instructions to pay that one are on the bottom, so you can go over to the first floor across the hall and pay now if you'd like. Sure. Number 25, 822 33rd Street, CE 06050915. Number 25, 822 33rd Street.
Any takers?
Number 25. All right, Officer Williams, City of West Palm Beach Code Enforcement. The property at 822 33rd Street was originally cited on May 26, 2006. They were cited for a failed inspection for various violations, inoperative or junk vehicles on the property, hazardous trees and vegetation that needed to be trimmed and removed, excessive overgrowth of the grass and yard of the property, as well as the trees, hedges, and other vegetation on the property. The trees and hedges obstructing the city's right-of-way that needed to be trimmed back, as well as the fence that needed to be repaired or replaced. This went to a magistrate hearing September 8th, 2006, It was ordered for the fine to start as of October 10th, 2006. This ran for 661 days at $150 a day for a total of $99,150. This was brought into compliance August 1st, 2008. These violations did occur under the previous owner. This is the new owner as well as his representative here today to mitigate the fines. The city is requesting a reduction of 10%, which would be $9,915.
Okay. Yes, sir. Go ahead and tell me your name and address, and then you can proceed.
Certainly, Your Honor. My name is Scott Blasey, and my address is 6632 Rock Creek Drive in Lake Worth. Quick full disclosure, I'm not an attorney.
Congratulations.
And thank you for your service as magistrate. I sat in Mark's shoes for 24 years in Boynton Beach before I got out. Anyway, I was referred to Mr. Blanchard, the property owner, by about a 30-year-old friend of mine who's in real estate and was actually involved in the closing of this particular property with Mr. Blanchard. And Mr. Blanchard was kind of, beating his head against the wall a little bit, so she referred him to me. Long story short, I had lunch with a gentleman and kind of fell in love with what he's trying to do. Far beyond me to do it. He sunk a lot of money in a property with a good-sized lien, and he's got a lot in front of him, but it's kind of his dream to be a part of Northwood Hills. I had a PowerPoint, so I'm just going to give you a copy.
Okay.
They don't want me infecting the city's hard drive with
Yeah.
USBs. I want to thank staff for putting up with us through all this. It's been a long, arduous road, and I think I've known Mr. Joyce a long time, and it's been a pleasure to work with Marcus and Monique and the rest of the team as well. Just to, I think I've laid everything out kind of in front of you as far as the PowerPoint, so I'd like to start. Obviously, the violations were created by the previous owner. I'm going to have to put my glasses on. From what you can see on the PowerPoint under what we know, the previous property owner in this property has kind of been a legacy thorn in the side for the city. Ms. Gold owned it for roughly 22 years, and during that time there were 21 code cases and 302 documented inspections. So to say Mark's team has been out there a lot is probably an understatement. As you can see, Mr. Blanchard purchased the property on August 10th of 22. He immediately filed for permits, and he also filed for lien reduction. I'll kind of skip through all the noise in there. We ultimately had to apply twice because the time ran out and he failed an inspection. But as I mentioned, he's really stuck his neck out and risked a lot of expense in hopes of being an integral part of this neighborhood. I attached, I'm kind of going ahead here, but I attached, I think on the very last page, basically an expense sheet, if you will. The assessed value came right off the property appraiser's site, and if I had the electronic presentation, I had a link to that site available. But you can see the assessed value. Mr. Blanchard is here to speak to the repairs and the trials and tribulations, etc. I can speak to the fact that a lot of the delay in getting before you had to do with building officials' determinations, etc., which we finally came around and resolved. We also were lucky enough to kind of be going through this when the city had a big software upgrade and migration. I was pretty proud of myself because I think I figured out how to use it before some of the people here did. But long story short, that probably cost us a month, believe it or not. And then, like I said, the building official and so on and so forth. But again, huge thank you to staff. They've been basically on call with us, meeting us out there, kind of holding our hand as we go through this, but unless there's any questions, I'll stand back for Mr. Blanchard.
Okay.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Blanchard, 5987 Newport Village Way, Lake Worth, Florida.
Yes, sir.
So, where do I start? I fell in love with the property. I was working for some investors back in 99, 2000, etc. And prior to then, I never knew Florida had any areas that had hills. And I'm originally from the Caribbean. So in driving through there, when the client sent me in that neighborhood, I said, wait, where am I? Did I leave the state of Florida? I'd never seen hills. And the breeze that day, it was pretty breezy, and it took me back home. I felt like I was home. I immediately called my mom, and I told her, Mom, there's this neighborhood that it has hills. And she's like, oh, I didn't know you left town, because I used to leave town frequently, go to California, etc. I said, no, Mom, I'm here in West Palm Beach. It's an area called Northwood Hills. And she said, hills? I said, yes, hills. The very next day, I took her through the neighborhood. And when we drove through, I had the windows down, and felt like we were home. And she said the same thing, and all the mango trees, so it was around July. And she said, oh, wow, I'd like to live here. I said, oh, yeah? Just went to the back of my mind. The opportunity came up, and same realtor that he was speaking of, I called her immediately, because I would drive through that neighborhood maybe every 2 months. I'd remember and exit and just drive through, just through the little rolling hills, and I saw a sign, and I said, no. I called. It was for sale by Zillow. I made a call, and I said, it can't be. And sure enough, I was able to acquire the property. I'd never bought anything with liens attached, so someone said it should be pretty easy. That's from the previous owner. It's not yours. So I said, okay, no worries. I immediately filed for the permits for windows, for the roof, for everything, and I started to research how I wanted to make this home, which would have been a California Spanish-style revival, being it's a 1928 home. However, there were challenges along the way. I'm very grateful for Mr. Marcus, Mr. Joyce, Ms. Monique, and the rest of code staff. They've been exemplary in their patience with me, and because my mom became ill with a heart condition, that's where I needed Scott's help while I made trips back and forth to take her to Cleveland Clinic in Ohio. So I wasn't able to commit to my mom and her health, and also the property. Fast forward, long story short, just June, my mom passed, so.
Very sorry.
I was pep talking myself that I wouldn't come to tears. So, because it was really like her home and mine. Sorry. So, I'm grateful that I'm here. I'm able to present my case to you. I've spent a lot of money so far in trying to bring it compliant and protecting it from the elements and the weather, and with your help, whatever it is that I need to do so that I can go ahead and start the rehabilitation. So I'm open to questions that you may have.
All right, so
It looks like crap now. Yes.
no, I don't have
I
a- I
plan
don't
to
have a-
make it shine as a
actually,
gem.
I was looking at the expense breakdown at the back of the packet that I was provided. Looks like
One of my largest expenses is I had to do a hard lend on it, because obviously in the condition that it was, no one would extend a mortgage on a property as such. So that's one. And with the maintenance of the yard, I didn't realize that I had to sod everywhere, including the sidewalk, the tree cutting, painting, new fence. There's just been a lot of expenses I've incurred. He actually has a breakdown. Maybe I think
that's what I'm looking at. It looks
Yeah.
like a little over 55, over 56,000 in out-of-pocket after the purchase price of 225. Is that, if I'm reading this correctly?
Yes. And some added, well, the lender also took a monies in escrow. If I could prove to them that I could reduce the lien. I just told him that just Friday passed. I reached out to them and said, hey, I have the meeting with the magistrate and you know, I'm gonna get it reduced, but unfortunately they said no. That's a done deal. When it balloons, you know, then they'll make the adjustment there, but those were monies that I were counting on coming back to me had I made it here a lot sooner, and that was gonna go towards the rehab.
Okay, and then this is, if I heard you correctly, gonna be your residence once you're ready to move into it?
Correct.
All right. Is there anything else the city wants to put on the record in this case?
No, sir.
Anything else, sir, that you'd like to tell me before I enter my order?
No, just I'm grateful that, you know, everyone's here and I'm here and.
Okay, well, this is a $99,150 lien caused by a prior owner based on the evidence that I've reviewed and considering what you've done with the property and invested into it. I'm going to reduce this lien down to $2,000. Can you pay that within the next 30 days? If not, I can give you more time.
A little more time, please.
60, 90,
Yes,
you tell
60.
me. I don't want to set it up for failure. I want to give you enough time.
Yeah, and
90 days.
I appreciate that.
You
Thank
got
you.
it. Okay. You'll get a copy of that order right now, and I wish you the best of luck.
Thank you so much.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, everybody.
Number 26, 3032 Glenwood Road, CE 120300417.
Officer Williams, City of West Palm Beach Code Enforcement. Property at 3032 Glenwood Road was originally cited March 19th, 2012. They were cited for outdoor storage, landscape maintenance needed to the yard, as well as the trash can being in view of the public. This went to a magistrate hearing May 2nd, 2012. It was ordered for the fine to start as of June 5th, 2012. That ran for 2,257 days at $50 a day, for a total of $112,850. This was complied August 10th, 2018. This violation occurred under the previous owner. There were 6 different cases under that ownership. Before us today is the relative of that owner who has taken over the property and seeking mitigation of the fines. Service on this particular violation was achieved by posting. The city requests a reduction of 10% of the lien, which would be a total of $11,285.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am. Go ahead and tell me your name and address, and then you can tell me about the request.
Hi, my name is Natalie Delgado. The address is 3032 Glenwood Road. I was appointed by Miss Lee Tremaldi. You could say she's my aunt. We're friends of the family, you could say.
Okay.
Like an aunt. She reached out to me to help her with this back in March of this year because she's been trying to apply for mitigation and to come into compliance, but it's been very, very hard for her. In 2020, she got COVID, and ever since after that, she has a lot of problems with her lungs, and it's just like overall her mood as well has just changed very much throughout the years. That's kind of where I come in, and I've been trying to help her. Obviously, also, she's been facing a lot of financial distress, and I've been able to help her because per the code violation, they wanted her to get a new roof, repair the driveway, clean the house, re-landscape the property, And all in all, she spent, I have here the notes, about $38,500 is what she's telling me here. And just $25,000 of that has gone to a completely new roof. You can see that in the pictures. Also, it was done with all the permitting that is required. Painting and landscaping, she's paid $6,500, and the driveway, she's paid $7,000 to repair it. Another thing about my aunt's situation is that she's also currently in foreclosure. And right now, between what is owed with this and the mortgage, it's way more than what the property is even worth. So she is hoping that finally she can get some relief, because since she's been dealing with this for years. And, you know, she would like to move back into the property. This was her homestead, and she's looking to move back into the property once she can get some peace from the bank also harassing her for the payments.
Okay. I think you said this was a prior owner, but this sounds like the same owner as.
So it's the same owner. She's representing
Right.
that owner. She's taking over the day-to-day of the, for the property.
Okay. Do you know why, like the code enforcement case was in 2012, why it took so long to get that cleared up? And it just fall under
From
her
my
wing?
understanding, and I did witness some of it last year, it's every time she would come into compliance, they would come and inspect, and then something new would arise. Also, she didn't have the money to pay for a contractor to properly fix like the driveway, so the permitting items always were there along with the roof.
Okay. All right. Is there anything else the city wants to put on the record for this case?
No, sir.
Ma'am, anything else you'd like to tell me before I enter my order?
If you could just help us as much as you can. She was hoping that if she could pay a $500 fine, she was telling me that she could pay in the next 30 days.
I don't think in this particular case that's probably too big of a reduction. You know, in this case, we have the same owner that dealt with that had the violations. I am gonna reduce it for sure, but not that low. This is a $112,850 lien. The city's recommendation was to reduce it to 10% of that, which would be $11,285. I'm going to reduce this to $4,000. Can you pay that within the next 6 months?
I don't think she'll be able to pay that, to tell you the truth.
Put 12 months on the order, so that'll give you 12 months to make that payment.
You said 4,000?
Yes. Okay, all right, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
I believe the next respondent is here for the next 5 cases with different addresses. Next case number is 28711 Mill Valley Place. Did I miss? Yeah. CE 1905025, number 28711 Mill Valley Place.
So Magistrate, this individual is here for the next 5, number 28, 30, 31, 32, and 33. We do have an agreed upon amount prior to the hearing. So do you want to just hear them all at once, or do you want to take them one by one?
You guys came to an agreement on what the reduction amount should be, is that what you said?
Yes, sir.
Why don't you go ahead and put everything on the record, tell me what the agreed amount is, and I'm pretty sure I will agree with it, and we can call it a day.
Okay. All right, so for case number CE 1905025, 711 Mill Valley Place, the total amount was, do you want to hear the whole gambit or just the agreed upon? Would you like to hear the entire?
Yeah, go ahead and,
Okay.
yeah.
So this particular case was originally cited May 13, 2019. They were cited for failure to obtain a rental license as well as certificate of use. This went to a magistrate hearing July 17, 2019. It was ordered for the fine to start as of August 19, 2019. That ran for 985 days at $200 a day for a total of $197,000. This was complied April 30th, 2022. The city, as well as the respondent, agreed upon in advance to reduce this lien to $12,000, payable within 120 days.
120?
Yes, sir.
All right. Go ahead and, why don't you go ahead and put 30, 31, 32, and 33 on, on the record as well.
Absolutely. Item number 30, CE 1905023. This case was originally cited May 13, 2019, for failure to obtain a rental license as well as certificate of use. That went to a magistrate hearing July 17, 2019. It was ordered for the fine to start as of August 19, 2019. That ran for 86 days at $200 a day for a total of $17,200. This was complied November 13, 2019. The city and the respondent have agreed to reduce this fine to $4,300, also payable within 120 days.
Okay.
The next agenda item, number 31, case number CE 190502815, 517 Green Springs Place. This property was originally cited May 14, 2019 for failure to obtain a rental license as well as certificate of use. That went to magistrate hearing July 17, 2019. That was ordered for the fine to start as of August 19, 2019. This ran for 985 days for at $200 a day for a total of $197,000. And this was complied April 30th, 2022. The city, as well as the respondent, has agreed in advance to reduce this lien to $12,000, payable within 120 days. The next case, agenda item number 32, CE 1905027 867 Blue Ridge Circle. This case was originally cited May 13, 2019, for failure to obtain a rental license as well as certificate of use. This went to a magistrate hearing July 17, 2019. It was ordered for the fine to start as of August 16, 2019. This ran for 95 days at $200 a day for a total of $19,000 and was complied November 19, 2019. The city, as well as the respondent, agreed in advance to reduce this lien to $4,750, payable within 120 days. The final agenda item for this respondent, number 33, CE 1905072, address 15105 Glenmore Drive. This case was originally cited May 13, 2019 for failure to obtain a rental license as well as certificate of use. This went to a magistrate hearing July 17, 2019. It was ordered for the fine to start as of August 19, 2019. This ran for 86 days at $200 a day for a total of $17,200. It was complied November 13, 2019. The city and the respondent agreed in advance to reduce this lien to $4,300, payable within 120 days.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Ma'am, go ahead and tell me your name and how you're affiliated with these requests and anything else you'd like to tell me.
Yes, good morning. Adriana Clemens on behalf of AKey DK LLC. I'm attorney of record for the property owner, and we're in agreement with everything that Officer Williams has
Okay.
put forth in the record.
Wonderful, thank you. Anything else that you need to put on the record?
No, sir.
All right, then for agenda item 28, case 19050-265, lien is of $197,000 is reduced to $12,000. Case 19050-273, the lien of $17,200 is reduced to $4,300. Case 19050-281, the lien of $197,000 is reduced to $12,000. Case 19-050271, the lien of $19,000 is reduced to $4,750. In case 19-050272, the lien of $17,200 is reduced to $4,300. Each of those payable within the next 120 days. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, appreciate it.
And if I'm following along correctly, I think that concludes everything on the agenda for today. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Anything else for the good of the order? Okay, it's 12:30 and we stand adjourned.